Well, absolutely, you're right. I mean, one of the narratives we hear, I mean, from people that we work with is, look, I mean, you couldn't have peace, sustainable peace without justice. But people tend to also forget that peace and justice are a constant struggle. It's a constant struggle, right? I mean, and the peace and the justice, already the justice that we are referring to is wrong. The retributive justice, which has a lot to do with state policy. And there is the one that we are looking at or focusing at the level of the peace building, which is the restorative justice. And in terms of the restorative justice, we talk about forgiveness, we talk about healing, we talk about restoration, we talk about reconciliation. Because a peace work can never be complete without communities that have hitherto fought themselves reconciling one to another, forging some kind of a new social compact that would help them to forgive the past in order to reconcile the future. But again, the most important thing I would like to say here is that both the legal justice and the restorative justice needs to be pursued simultaneously. You couldn't just do one, at the detriment of or ignoring other, because at the end of the day, you realize that you're only going in cycles, and that's not the kind of peace that we are looking to entrench in Plateau State. Our role as a peace-building agency is to set the agenda that in the face of the failure of the system to deal with some of the problems we see, ranging from security to the provision of the public, to the public goods. What can ordinary people do in order to heal, in order to forgive? What can we do to enhance resilience and move on with our lives, such that at least we are not consumed in an irreconcilable struggle? And that is our own understanding of what, restorative justice is all about. And talking about even the legal justice, one of the reasons that explains the decline that we see in the spate of violence in Plateau State as opposed to 10, 15 years ago is the fact that the administration of Right Honorable Sam Bakola Long has also taken deliberate steps to deal with some of the underlying issues of conflict and to deliver justice to its people. Of course, I'm sure you're aware that there has been a review on the Administration of Criminal Act, which ensures that perpetrators of violence are fished out and are also prosecuted and punished according to the laws of our land. And you're also aware that there are a lot of steps that the government has taken. For example, the land grabbing law, which was signed recently by His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Plateau State, to ensure that lands that were confiscated by some aliens are taken back taken back to the people who own those lands. There is no any better form of justice than that. So there is a whole lot of policy framework, a legal framework that the government is pursuing through different ministries, departments, and agencies to ensure that.
Yeah, your agency, the PPPA, recently held a training for a peace and security committee that will address security. Joseph, are you with me?
Sorry, I didn't get that question.
I thought you were still talking. Okay, fine. Your agency recently held a training or a one-day training for the security committee, and concerning challenges with the Mango chiefdom. I think it's called Mango. So talk to us about this training and what is this issue with the Mango chiefdom?
Okay, so let me correct you very quickly. I mean, the right pronunciation is Miango. Miango is a chiefdom, is a district in Bassa local. And Bassa local government is located in the northern territorial zone of Plateau State. It's like 30 minutes drive away, or 35 minutes away drive away from the metropolitan center. That is just the capital of Plateau State. There has been a lot of clashes, a lot of attacks and counterattacks between the Fulanis and the Irigwe people, who are the predominant natives in Miango district, or the Miango chiefdom. And we have seen that happening over and over and over again. But the agency has stepped in, identifying the conflict parties and trying to reach out to them to build a consensus in terms of, building or fostering mutual understanding and cooperation, and by so doing, transforming the situation. It's not an easy feat, like I would always say, because peace building is never an event. It is a long process in itself that's replete with the risk of failure as even opposed to success. So our role is to midwife that process, creating that platform, building the confidence and the trust of the conflict parties, allowing them to talk to each other. And one of the key strategies is to train them, expose them to the basic tools and equip them with the skills that is required for conflict transformation and peace building. So we have this training over and over and over again with a wide range of stakeholders. It could be the elders today, tomorrow it could be young people, the next day it could be women and all that, because we believe that everyone is a stakeholder in the peace process and no one single party or individual should be left out. But first and foremost, they must understand the essence, the reality that conflict is an inevitable fact of life. But on the other hand, the need for us to coexist side by side is equally compelling. And that people must learn to approach conflict with a very positive eye. They must have a positive approach to it. And by so doing, you are able to transform the situation. And we allow them to take ownership of the entire process. So our role is simply put to facilitate that process, giving them the training, empowering them, and enabling them to take ownership of the process. Because by so doing, you are building trust, you are building a resilience, you are building confidence, which are key or critical elements that determine the success of any key or any peace building effort in any situation you find yourself.
Okay, very briefly, everyone is a stakeholder in the peace process. How would you assess the receptiveness of the people? Because a lot of your work must have to do with orientating the people. How would you assess your performance so far?
Very positive. I mean, I wouldn't sit down here and lie to you that everything is a bed of roses. You know, there are instances where people tend to even sometimes become very skeptical about what we do because, of course, we are a creation of government. And there are a segment of people that sometimes tend to see even government as a party to the conflict. But what we're trying to do basically is to build trust, to get that kind of credibility.
That's the much we can take, Mr. Langman. Thank you for coming on Newsday, and we do wish you the best. Hope you achieve the peace you're in search of in Plateau State.